Welcome to RKIT Labs Podcast. Today we have one interesting guest with us, Head of Connectivity Services for a global bank, Mr. Ravi Kanth Imani. Hi Ravi, thanks for joining RKIT Labs Podcast.
Hi Ravindar, good evening. It's my pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
So Ravi, I am seeing your growth last 25 years. You started with a network engineer in 2000 and now you are like heading one of the connectivity services for the global bank. Can you please brief about your career growth and the experience?
Well, thanks for asking that question. 25 years in the infrastructure industry is pretty long stint. So I've worked as a technical trainee. I started my career with Vidya Sanchar Nigam Limited. It was a job where I was fresh out of the college, and then I had this opportunity, and always infrastructure networking was my interest. So VSNL gave me that opportunity, so I started there as a contractor for a year. Then I moved to GE Capital as another contractor for almost 2 years. And then in 2003, I had this opportunity to join the bank, the present firm which I'm working right now. And it's been like a constant journey for the last 23 years now, within the organization. And I've kind of seen a pretty big changes, whether it is a technology change, whether how the firm grows, the talent, etc. And one thing which kind of pushes me is, what would you do next? So that keeps me motivating, and as an organization, it gives me a lot of opportunities to work along with the different people, different cultures, different mindsets. So the two parts interesting is you are an infrastructure guy,
Right.
and then you also work with people and the business. So it always helps me to see how you will be able to kind of simplify the infrastructure to a business. Because back then when I started my journey, IT and infrastructure was like those are the words of AI now.
Correct.
But yeah, people always believe that IT and infrastructure is like too technical and stuff like that. But yeah, interestingly, we have made the infrastructure simplified for the business. People understand infrastructure now. So yeah, 25 years, I never imagined how it passed, but it's a good, awesome journey.
Yeah, good journey. And Ravi, what I see, most of the people get confused about infrastructure. They think about laptops and routers, etc. But at enterprise level, what is this infrastructure means?
So at an enterprise level, when we look at an IT infrastructure, when you look at different layers of the entire IT as a stack, right? Infrastructure constitutes your entire base, whether it is your laptops, your endpoint servers. So when you want to build an IT in an organization, or when you're kind of developing IT into the organization, so it all depends upon what you want to do for an IT. So infrastructure is your base.
Correct.
So it starts with your location, your racks, your cabling, your networks, routers, switches, firewalls, proxies, and then eventually it gets up to your servers, your WAS, your MQs, your database servers, DB servers. And on top of it, then you actually add these layers of your endpoints, and depending upon whether it is an end user who is using a normal application or whether you're running an high-end application for the developers, you have, it's kind of an entire stack, which actually will help the other layers of IT to function. So usually the infrastructure is always behind the scenes, but these are the enablers for any business to function.
Correct. It plays a vital role.
It does.
In the backend, but it plays a vital role because any application cannot sustain without the proper infra.
Correct.
And very interestingly, many people look at the software developer roles only, but not at the infrastructure role. So what are the opportunities at the infra level? And how people can grab these opportunities, because if you look at the curriculum also in the college side, there is very limited course or the trainings on infra side.
So basically infrastructure, there's a mindset, Ravi. It's not that development is easy and infrastructure is hard. End of the day, this is all about IT, about innovation. How would you make your lives easy with IT? So infrastructure actually plays a very crucial role when you kind of look at the entire IT as a stack. Yeah, and when we look at the opportunities, typically it's more about the mindset, saying I have to be a developer. Okay, because when you look at some of the projects in the college, right, in your fourth year of engineering graduations, etc., they are typically more of a development related project. People don't really get into the infrastructure levels of projects. So once you start building that infrastructure, once you actually acknowledge what IT infrastructure is, how it can actually impact an IT stack, then it makes decisions easy for people to choose. So the job opportunities are there. The infrastructure is still growing. I know about the technologies and what's happening in the market right now. But as I said, infrastructure plays a key element. It kind of holds everything else on top of it. So yes, infrastructure as a career is pretty good. And with all the upcoming emerging technologies, whether you call AI or all the new technologies, which will kind of help, making your infrastructure experience much easier.
Okay. So what is the impact of AI on the infrastructure side? Will people lose a job or get the jobs?
Well, it's not about losing or getting the job, right? It's a technology that you are going to leverage. There are two elements of it. When I started my career, 23, 25 years back, right? We don't know what is AI. It's all about, how would you learn yourself? How would you upskill yourself? Whether it's your certifications and the trainings that I underwent. And more importantly, you have to get that hands-on experience, so that actually kind of teaches you more. When you delve into a problem, when you kind of, sail through the problem, knowing that there is an impact, but you have to restore. So those experiences, that kind of, adds a lot of a strength, when you wanted to make a decision. What AI is doing right now is helping you to actually make those decisions much faster. Because you can look at all the previous trends, whether you're doing incident management, problem, SREs, how would you reduce your MTTRs in the infrastructure? How quickly you'll be able to spin up a server, or spin up a database, where we had a lot of manual work at that point in time. A lot of work that is automated now, and AI is also helping to do it. But one thing that we should not forget is human in loop. So when you have that human in loop, when you are leveraging AI and you are making sure that you are involved in that journey, you are taking a stack of those milestones in that journey. I think AI really helps to, scale up the infrastructure much faster.
Much faster. And with AI coming in, there are a lot of scope also opportunity for the AI.
Yeah.
And I could see new techs like AI ops and ML ops. So what is your inputs and guidance to the existing IT employees to upskill themselves? So what are the tech stack they should focus upon?
See, if I'm a student, the first thing I would expect is you have to have a clear mentorship coming from the colleges, with the educational institutions or their respective faculties. Where do you want to see your career in the next 5 to 10 years? That's a critical part. If I wanted to choose a career, let's say in AI and ML and ops, those work streams are pretty different. When you do research in MI, you do a lot of development work in AI, that more gets you involved into that AI ML journeys. Attaching operations on top of AI and ML is how do you combine both worlds? You have the AI capabilities, ML capabilities, you have the operation capabilities. So it kind of combines both of them. But if I'm a student, I have to look at what I should be doing in the next 5 to 10 years to make sure that I make a clear choice of if I'm going to invest my time and effort in making my career into AI and ML. There are a lot of opportunities coming up now.
Right.
Excellent opportunities in AI and ML.
I know you have introduced hundreds of students across India and multiple colleges. What's the biggest gap you see with the students?
So the one of the gap that I have seen, Ravi, is you apply for a role. Okay, so basically you tend to say, I have learned something in the college. I have done some bit of programming. I know IT, and which means that I can easily crack an interview. Maybe that's where I see a gap in the capability. So one thing which probably should be more encouraging is, people have to, people who are applying for those jobs and coming to the interviews, they have to do their homework. Because when I do an interview, my interview is not fully focused on the technology. Because the technology, what you know today, is not the technology what you will work. Technology is evolving every day. I kind of focus on, their aspirations and the mindset to adopt the technology.
Correct. The mindset is
You need to know the technology. And on top of it, you need to have the right mindset to change yourself to the technology. And you have to give that commitment to make sure that I am going to commit myself to learn and grow. These are the key things which I look forward when I'm talking to people.
But unfortunately, the mindset is something is not being taught in the college, because currently the education system, as per the ACTC, the college syllabus is getting changed every 7 years, and the tools or technology changing every 2 to 3 months. So there's a vast gap between what industry is demanding and what colleges are producing.
I kind of completely acknowledge with you, Ravi. That's probably a pattern that we are seeing in the education system right now, and I hope sometime this will change. But again, it all goes with the pace the technology is evolving today. If you have to become a PhD, if you have to get a PhD doctorate in a technology, and then you have to go and get into a faculty, right? By then, whatever you have done as a PhD to become a faculty, that technology is getting obsolete at some point in time. So it is equally important for those faculties to upskill themselves, not on the knowledge that was done or that was learned years back, but how we are going to kind of keeping ourselves abreast with the new technologies coming out. So it's a growth from both sides. Right?
And with the current layoffs and the global recession in the market, how is the mindset of the employees within the organization?
Well, that mindset, to be frank, I say there are fears in the market. But if you look at the fears are predominantly driven by saying, will AI take away my job or AI will take away my role? As long as you are upskilling your technical skills, you are up to date. And what I would say is you have to make AI to work for you. If you are making AI work for you, then you are not able to, or people will not be able to replace you, right? So because you have that growth along with the AI,
but
it will help you.
Yeah, I have one curious question. It is until me since quite a while, because at the banking and finance where you have a lot of sensitive data. So with AI coming in, are you adopting to the AI tools, whatever those tools come into the market, or any custom tools are being developed or the model being developed within the organization?
So I would be generic in answering this question, Ravi. When we talk about banking as an industry, as you rightly mentioned, it's all about the data and what is your personal identifiable data versus payment data, critical data, non-critical data. So there's a huge data which is there. Now, AI, if you're just dumping any data into that, it's not the right thing to do. Okay, so you have to be sensible, and I can reckon that most of the financial institutions have started building their own models, bespoke models that will fit the organizations, to develop those AI models that will suit their requirements. And a lot of AI, companies are helping the organizations to do it. So it's all about, you have the platform. It's best about how do you leverage on the platform. It should be used, not misused.
And I see companies need loyalty and employees need growth. And there's a real disconnect here, because I see many of the employees right now, they're not able to get their career progression. They could see single digit increment. So obviously the impact with respect to the deliverables and the mindset of the employees right now in 2026.
See, when we look about the tenure, when you look about the roles itself, right? If you are in one role for more than X amount of time, then you are in your comfort zone.
Right. Yeah. Right now.
If you are in comfort zone, and you can see the entire world around you is out of that comfort zone and growing. So obviously your opportunities are limited.
Correct.
It's about how do you push yourself coming out of that comfort zone. As an organization, there are a lot of opportunities in the organizations itself. Yes. Why don't you, look at the opportunities within the organization? That would not only help you to learn let's say a business or a technology, but it will also help you to expand your network. It's not just about the work that you do. It's how do you expand yourself. So you have to make sure that you're coming out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, there is no boundary. There are multiple opportunities because when you interact with the students also, mostly the college students, they have that mindset. If they give interview in Java, they think that lifelong their role will be a Java developer only. But within the organization, there are a wide number of opportunities where it's up to you to grab them.
Correct.
Learn, upskill, and grab the opportunity.
Yeah,
there's no boundary.
Come out of the comfort zone.
And comfort zone is the biggest sin, or not taking the risk is also a risk.
I am with you. Not taking a risk is a bigger risk because you don't know what it could have, changed yourself. So it's always good to take the risk. But my view is you have to evaluate it. Just don't take the risk. Do your self-evaluation whether it is a right move or not. If in doubt, talk to your mentors, talk to your close allies in the industry. So they will help you to kind of make you a right decision.
And I see most of the engineers, they don't focus on the IT governance and compliance, which is very, very important in the banking and financial sector. So how do you see those opportunities, and you can guide the audience accordingly?
Well, I can say that's one area which is kind of always not on the priority metrics, when we talk about an IT or infrastructure career. Those are extremely important for an organization to run.
Correct.
Technology is one end. And, those are your guardrails to make sure that you are using the technology for the right reasons. So you have to make sure those IT risk compliance, as these are actually baked within the DNA. They're already there in the organization. There are controls, organization does a lot of risk and controls, mitigations, etc. They have a team. As a technician, as an IT infrastructure engineer, or as an IT developer, we need to have that mindset inculcated within the DNA, saying, am I doing the right thing? Whatever I'm delivering right now, is it a compliance certified? Whether it will cause any non-compliance issues. So you need to do those checks regularly to make sure that, those are actually part of your journey. And in terms of careers, there are a lot of opportunities there as well, because I can see the regulators are becoming more and more focused on the data and your compliance part of it, because all this cloud, AI, these are widely available right now. So everybody is very, very careful of what goes into those platforms, right? How do you leverage those platforms? So, you have to be very careful. And again, it's always make sure that you have those IT compliance risk as part of your DNA.
It's very important because there's a lot of scope for the data breach and the risk and the compliance and audit issues, mainly on the finance and banking side.
Correct.
If you're not inline to the standards.
Correct.
Okay. I see many of the IT employees reporting about the burnout. As a senior leader, how do you address the burnout?
Interesting question. Thanks for asking that, Ravi. When we talk about this burnout, right, I would say stress for a good amount is pretty good, because you need to have that motivation. Extreme burnout is dangerous. Okay, but a good amount of that stress really helps you to kind of focus on your deliverables. But as an individual, you have to start practicing. How would I come back to my a normal state? So as an organization, I think most of the organizations have their wellness programs, making sure that, they have a good work-life balance, etc. Start using those work-life balance platforms, those wellness sessions, and focus on your work. One of the things which I've seen when I talk to the people is they carry work back at home.
All right. There's no line between the
so you have to kind of create that space, right? Yes, at work, you're 100% committed. You have to deliver what you're supposed to do, what is the role demanding. You are there. But back at home, you don't carry your work stress at home. Start practicing it. Have that clear distinction between this is my work life, this is my personal life. That will really help people to address that one. I know it is difficult, but when I say it, once you start practicing it, it actually can make difference. You spend more time with family, talk to friends, it can really help. Another piece, right, when you are at work, one of the things that usually I see is, when a task gets assigned, people believe that, I'm alone in that entire team. You are not alone in a team. So if you need help, ask for help. People will help you.
Definitely.
Okay, so that is one way you can also kind of leverage your, connects and the teams and your own, I would say, office family that will help you, to come out of those situations. So yeah, please, start practicing it. That's good.
Yeah, we should voice out. Yes, voice out your opinion and mingle with the team and the people, because the networking is very, very important. Your personal bonding is very important. Professional bonding is important.
That's exactly right. You are not alone in a team, really. You are a member of a team, which means you have people with you. You have your colleagues with you. You have your line managers with you. And I think there is a misconception saying I'm always being targeted or I'm always being called. It doesn't work. Practically, see, people only look at what you are going to deliver. Your role is supposed to do X, Y, Z. Are you doing X, Y, Z?
Yes.
Okay.
Fair enough.
If you need help in that, if you have issues with that, if you have blockers with that, you please call it out. Tell that I need help. And trust me, there are people to help within the same team.
Absolutely. Why not? We have seen that. Yeah. Because end of the day, it's a team effort, not an individual effort. Because you're working in MNC, you're working for major companies. Because you're talking about the progression and all, I've seen you grown with multiple promotions. What is your advice for the IT engineers to quickly progress in their careers, and how the performance evaluation is being done?
So there are two things. I think in the start of our discussion, I did mention about you being an IT, you being a technician versus, how do you translate that IT into real business world scenarios, right? So one of the things that as an IT engineer or an infrastructure or a technician, you have to come out of your comfort zone. That one we spoke, because only then you can explore the opportunities. You get ready for facing some of the challenges. Not every journey is easy. When I started my career 25 years back, I know the hardships that I went, when I actually started building my career. Not that everybody has to do it, but yeah, you need to start somewhere. And the journeys are not always easy. You have to take that first step. And once you start taking your second step and third step, trust me, you are always there. People will see you as flexible. Once the organization sees you as a flexible, then you are in that, in that list of opportunities, right? Saying, oh, okay, I know Ravindar, okay, why don't I go and ask him, Ravindar, can you take up this opportunity? So you have to create that opportunities, you have to be flexible. And aside the flexibility, right, you also have to make sure that you know the business. Yeah. Whether you're working in a banking industry, whether you're working in a service, any industry, one thing that everybody should be practicing now is KYC. It's not that banking or the other people doing our KYC. We have to do KYC and know your customer, know your business, know your consumer. Once you start knowing your customers and your organization and what is that we deliver as an organization, right? It will help you to actually look at how will I help the organizations to grow. Once you are clear with that, and once you're flexible, once you're out of your comfort zone and people know that you are a quick learner, you have that an aspiration to grow, the opportunities are always there.
And many of them lack the domain experience.
Domain experience would come in two things, Ravi. I mean, it all depends upon the domain you are in, the kind of trainings, etc., etc. Some real-time scenarios, that will come more of a hands-on experience. Plus, you are learning.
And as I see, many GCCs are moving or being set up in India. So, how do you see this trend, GCCs and GICs? And I see you as a GCC leader, a senior leader. So can you throw some light on the emerging GCCs?
So GCCs are good. I mean, when you see the kind of GCCs, if you follow LinkedIn and if you follow the news, right, pretty much there is a new GCC which is open in Hyderabad and in India. It's there everywhere, which means, there's a lot of potential. Okay, the reason why the GCs are coming is because they see a lot of potential. Now, with respect to the opportunities, once a GCC is coming up, which means obviously there are a lot of opportunities as well within the GCCs. Now, the other thing which I also kind of advocate to people is, how do you look at global capability centers transforming into global innovation centers? Okay, the journey is on the GCCs, but you also have to look at how do we really create that innovation within those centers, which a lot of other organizations are practicing it right now. So the growth trajectory of the GCCs will grow up. And I'm sure you are following the news about a lot of data centers are coming up in India, hyperscaler expanding. So that would continue to grow, which means there is a lot of demand for the infrastructure, IT infrastructure people there. So there would be a lot of demand coming up. There are growths. These are all positive growths where I see.
So with India GC going, you could see tremendous upcoming opportunities for the IT employees and the freshers.
There will be opportunities as long as you're making sure that you are keeping yourself up to the technologies and the opportunities which are coming up. As you mentioned, if I am a Java engineer, if I'm doing Java programming for the last 10 years, I'm not innovating myself, or I'm not keeping myself up to date with the technologies which are emerging. Me getting into an opportunity for a GCC is probably, the chances are less than somebody who is actually upskilled himself or herself, keeping them more up to the technologies, right? Their opportunities are.
Before we end the conversation, what will be your valuable suggestions for the freshers and also IT working employees?
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks for actually inviting me for this one, right? I'm a really interesting conversations and the topics that we have covered today. Now, as a experienced, I would say, I've done my 25 years in this infrastructure space. One thing which I would tell people is, remain focused on your career. Have that clear goal. What do you want to see yourself? Where do you want to see yourself? In 5 years, 10 years. Have that plan in place. Don't deviate. And more importantly, we are students every day. Every day is a learning. Go to the work as if it's your first day at work, which means you are actually having that inclination towards what will I learn today. Be a student every day. And trust me, that learning curve with that focus and dedication will give you the opportunity.
So it was a wonderful conversation, Ravi. Thanks for coming all the way, on a weekend and spending your valuable insights and information. And thanks, guys. We had a very good, insightful journey and the conversation with Ravi. With his 25 years of experience, he unrevealed some of the hidden facts and myths in the conversation. Hope you enjoy it and keep watching RKIT Labs and encourage us. Thank you.